I've been here since 2003. So I've been here, this is my 13th year. Came here in 2003, August, as a lecturer actually.
Wow.
So
you've moved on up.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of programs, I understand, under you. In fact, can you name off how many programs you actually have?
We, as I said, we started in 2005 actually. I started with a $15,000 grant, which I got from the industry to do some modeling for them. It's actually it was the largest bearing manufacturer in the United States. And they wanted some heat transfer modeling for them. That was one of my areas of expertise. And we started with that, and they liked the model, and they kept on funding us. And we went from 15,000 in 2005 to $500,000 grants starting in 2009 when we got some presses. So we have grown what we call the UTRGV or UTPA, at that point UTPA Railroad Research Group. And when that got established, well established in 2013, we were approached by A&M to apply for a USDOT UTC program, which is University Transportation Centers that focus on research, education, technology transfer, workforce development. So we applied for that grant in 2013, and we were funded for 3 years, $4.5 million to basically grow the research and encompass not just mechanical components, which we do here, but also infrastructure, which A&M does, and operations, which Nebraska does, and they're part of our center. We are the lead center, and they are subcontracts basically, but we've now done railway safety on all areas, human factors, operations, infrastructure, and mechanical components. The program now actually involves about 10 faculty, about 6 to 8 graduate students, and about 20 undergraduate students. And it also pays for 2 full-time staff, other than some also work studies that help with the web design and basically secretarial duties for the center. Like my expertise when I graduated, I had expertise in acoustics and vibrations. That was what I did my dissertation, my doctoral studies, and my undergraduate was in actually thermal storage units and that are used for cooling plants. Okay. What happened is in 2003, when I started as a lecturer, the university, I did not have summer employment because lecturers are bottom of the food chain, so we cannot get courses to teach. It becomes with seniors, and so I was asked to go back to my alma mater, Nebraska, because I graduated from there, and teach for them in the summer because they don't have any faculty that want to teach there, so it's the opposite. So I would go there every summer. And so in 2005, one of my colleagues in Nebraska had this problem. He actually was the one working with the railroad industry. And I was there, and he came and he goes, "You're a thermal expert, we have a thermal problem, and you're here. Would you like to help me do a model?" Because his area is metallurgy, it wasn't heat transfer. And at that point, he said, I have $5,000 to offer you. I had just finished teaching, and I had another month. My parents-in-law live in Nebraska. And I said, well, you know what? Why not? It's $5,000. I get here, and I do some research. It's fine. So we started with the model, and in come August, we said, well, I cannot finish the model. It still requires a lot of work. Can I have a small grant to bring it back to my university and continue this work? And sure enough, my colleague facilitated that, and I got a $15,000 grant from the same company that was funding him in Nebraska to do the model. And it was exciting because, well, there is an area where I didn't know that I can use my thermal expertise, but it's an application. It's for railroad, and it's like any system. You can model it like any mechanical system, and we started with that, and we got a nice model that can actually predict operating temperatures of bearings. And the company did not have that, and they were thrilled. So they were happy, and they said, well, we have a wheel heat problem, and we think that the heat from the wheels is affecting the temperature of the bearings. So can you look into that? And sure enough, we did another model of wheel heating with bearings, and actually those two papers, believe it or not, have had 4,500 citations and actually downloads, because they are first of their kind. I mean, nobody had modeled the heat transfer on these components, and that came from a need from the industry. So after that, we didn't have any testing capabilities. We didn't have any testers. We didn't have a press that can go up to 300 tons to be able to press bearings onto axles. So I went to the dean and I said, can I, if you get a press, it's about 200,000, but if you invest, I promise you that you will get your return on investment, because we're going to be getting more grants. And sure enough, he had the vision, and he said, why not? So we got the press that's sitting in the high bay, and because of that, the next year we got a grant for 130. And then the next year we got $500,000. And so the projects, the company, as the confidence grew, the company started growing, and they kept on giving us more projects. Eventually, they said, well, you're an acoustics and vibration expert. Well, can we do some sensors that can look into the bearing without having to tear down a bearing? And sure enough, we started doing some vibration sensors and testing, and we started developing an algorithm, which is a bearing condition monitoring algorithm, that we can kind of like listen to the bearing, take vibration and temperature, and from that extrapolate the condition of the bearing.
Was there any other way to test for that at any other time previously, or was this a new technology?
This is a new technology. The onboard sensors is something that we developed with the company. That's something that it wasn't done before. So the onboard system is something that we and the company developed together. So what we're trying to develop is a sensor that has temperature, vibration, and even measure load, and it can give you a holistic approach and health of the bearing. It all starts with, like, the will to do something. I think that when there is a will, there is a way. Okay, faculty need to not be afraid to try something. I mean, usually the chances are, like,